We need fresh vision, fresh blood. We need the ability, as the world changes to technology and TV slides backwards, and like it or not, and some things I like about it, some things I don't, the world is changing. Now at ILS, our theme was the changing of the guard. I'm thinking probably by the church anniversary, we're going to formalize. But I wanted to introduce to you your pastors.
Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the Mainline Marketing Podcast, where we help churches cut through the noise, clarify their message, and connect with more people. Before I go into the content for today, I want to talk about something that just happened in the Christian church world, where Bishop T.D. Jakes just stepped down from his historic ministry and a ministry that he made a huge impact on American Christianity as it is today. He has handed the keys to Sarah Jakes, his daughter, and her husband, and it was a very moving presentation, a changing of the guard, so to speak. And he mentions during this transition, he encourages to get fresh vision into the ministry and to accept technology, right? And just the importance of staying relevant with the times and making sure that there's a leader for the next generation. A very moving presentation, and we put one of the clips at the beginning of this episode to kind of set the scene for what we're going to talk about in this video. I work with churches all over the country. I've worked with over 100 churches nationwide, and I have had an opportunity to help big churches, small churches. And throughout this time, I have been working diligently, trying to find a process that will help any church reach their goals in terms of a marketing perspective. And that's what I want to talk about today, the pillars of and the foundation for any church's marketing, any church's branding, and really emphasizing why a lot of what churches do doesn't work, right? And how this process will help any church, regardless of what you're trying to accomplish, really reach your goals, experience the growth that you're trying to experience, and go to the levels and the heights that you want to experience. And that's what I want to spend a little bit of time on today, just giving you a foundational look at the process that any church can take to go to the next level. This is proven. This is something that I've worked diligently on putting together. And I want to share this with you in hopes that it will help you go to the next level. We just finished a historic Easter service on April 20th. A lot of churches saw record attendance. There's obviously a hunger and a real thirst for God in this time. But what I don't want us to do, with all of that being said, is to go back to business as usual. We're entering into a summer season where this is a great opportunity with less going on to really make sure that our brand and our outreach goals and perspectives and strategies are tightened, because when the fall comes, there is going to be a new opportunity. There's going to be more people looking for a church, more people looking for stability. The summer is usually the time that most people move historically, and there are going to be new people in your communities all over the country. So we want to make sure that you have a strategy that you can put in place this summer to be prepared for that next harvest. So if that's okay with you, and if you're looking to grow, spend a few minutes with me. I have a resource that I'll provide for you at the end. That it's a completely free resource, but this is designed to really help you to go to the next level. But let's start with some hard truth. Most church websites don't help their church grow. Why? Because they're built more like digital billboards for insiders rather than information that matters to people who are seeking and looking for a church. The website is designed to be a digital front door that welcomes new guests into a relationship with Jesus and his people. When people go to your website, they're asking themselves 3 questions within 7 seconds. Am I in the right place? Is this church for people like me? And what do I do next? Those are the things that people are asking. And if you can answer these questions and ensure that there is clarity and that there is a real direction, a real flow with your website, there's going to be a lot greater chance that they take that next step and that they go into the process, the discipleship pathway that you have in place, which I hope you have in place. So over the next few minutes, I'm going to share the 3 pillars of church marketing that lead to growth. Pillar number 1, the Epic Church Brand Guide. Every church needs a brand guide, something that gives guidance to your church identity. And I'm going to look at, there's 4 different components that put that together, but you need a brand guide. That is something that gives direction to everything else that you do. That is the foundation. You need a brand guide. Number 2, the Ideal Disciple Discovery Process. This is designed so your messaging actually connects with the people you're called to reach. So again, another 4-part framework that you can use that I'm excited to share with you that will give you the foundation that you need to reach the right people in your community. And then number 3 is the StoryBrand framework. And being a trained StoryBrand certified guide, I want to share with you the 4 pieces of marketing collateral that will take the 2 above frameworks and actually put them to use and help you to successfully apply them to your marketing, your strategy, and actually implement and begin to see traction immediately. So when you build your website on these 3 pillars, it does not just look good, but it invites, engages, and grows. So let's dive into these 3 pillars so that way you can experience the growth that you have been praying for. All right, the Epic Church Brand Guide. Your brand is not just your logo. Your brand is the feeling people have about your church. It is the emotional connection they make, often even without realizing it. When they see your website, when they see your social media, when they see your signage or even hear your name. The problem is many churches have branding that feels confusing, outdated, or disconnected from the people they're trying to reach. And it feels disconnected online. Guests will assume your church feels disconnected in person as well. So it's important that we have this part really dialed in and really focused. And you want to have a document. It's not simply something you just have, but it's a document that you can pull out whenever making a decision, especially around branding or outreach. So what are the 4 components that put this together? The E in Epic stands for existence. Why does your church exist? What's the founder story? What was it that caused your church to come into existence? And what problem was it there to solve? And I understand that a lot of people will say, well, every church is there to do the same thing, which in essence is pretty true. But there are slight nuances that can differentiate your church from others, that it's really important to dig into the story. So you want to put together a founder story that helps people to understand why the church came into existence in the first place and what are the things that it stands for. What are the doctrines, the beliefs, the desires, the mission that the church was designed to do. The P stands for purpose. The P stands for purpose. Why, what you believe and what you stand for. So this includes a purpose statement, a vision statement, a mission statement, values, all of these different things that will give people a clear understanding of what it is that you are there to do. And I'll do another video probably on each of these pillars to dig a little bit deeper into these things. But I really just want to give you the overview today, just so you can have an understanding of what you should have in place for your team, for new members. You want to be able to have these things in place. Then I goes into identity, and that's where we get into the logo, the feel, the look, the color palettes, the photography. These are all really important that you have a guide, an actual logo zip with all of the different files in all of the different forms like JPEG, PNG, etc., because those are going to be the things that you use for your different flyers and different things that you do from a promotional standpoint. but you want to have something in place where people can go and find it and utilize it in the way that is necessary. And you want to be able to have rules too. You can only use the logo this way, not that way. Trust me, if you use Starbucks logo, which they spent millions of dollars on, and you use it incorrectly, you can get sued. And while I don't believe you should sue somebody, I don't know if anyone would even use a church's logo. I don't know why, but it should be very important because that is a part of your story, and it's designed to attract certain people. And you want to make sure that you have it in place and have it a correct rule guide that will help people to know what they can and cannot do. And then finally, C stands for connection. How you communicate in a voice that feels welcoming and clear. When you build your brand around Epic, it's no longer random, it's relational. There is a full kit available that tells all of the stories. You want it to be in one place. You want to have one file that has all of these elements in it. Our agency helps churches put this together, but you want to be able to do this in a way that will help you to really give a lot more direction. We don't want things scattered. We want to have a very specific way that we want to do things, and we want to have a file that we can find. So again, I'll just repeat this. E stands for existence. So this is your origin story. Show people the heart behind your church and why it was planted. People are drawn to stories, not structures. Purpose. Make sure that your beliefs and values are clear. What is your purpose statement, your vision, your mission, your values? These things need to be documented. These things need to be in place. You want people to be able to articulate those things to you. You want to have language that your members can use to describe your organization. I stands for identity. This is where we get into the logo, the color palettes. What colors do we utilize, right? What kind of photos do we use? And when it comes to photos, let's get rid of stock. Let's forever never go back to stock images. Please, I am begging you, no more stock images. That is false advertisement. I cannot tell you how many times we have a flyer of some random stock image, and then people see it and they come to the church and it's no one in there looks like what it looks like on the flyer. We need to put those stock images back and never resurrect them. They're done. No more. Let's stop it. Get a photographer, hire a college kid across in the city, pay him $150 and have him come in on a Sunday, take some photos so you can have fresh photos. I would do that even once a quarter. What is that? $600? And then that's a good investment. I promise you that's a good investment. So please get good photos. You use it for your website, social media, et cetera, et cetera. And then finally, connection. You want to have the way in which your voice is perceived. You don't want to just be random. Intentionality, that is the key. That is what is going to help you to find success in the long run. This isn't the fun part. We have more actionable things that we want to do, but we want to make sure that this foundation is laid for the next part, which is the ideal disciple discovery process. So once you have your foundation of your brand laid out and you know who you are and you have articulated it and it's set and it's standardized, then you go into what I call, and this is something original, something that I came up with after working with hundreds of churches, the ideal disciple discovery process. Most church websites are vague because they are trying to talk to everyone. But when you try to reach everyone, you deeply connect with no one. And that's why smart churches do something different. They identify their ideal disciple. Now, this is sort of a next level type of process, but I want you to come with me because this could be a game changer for churches who embrace it and apply it to their context. So let me go through the process. So if you're wanting to identify your ideal disciple, here's the 4 steps you'll take. Number 1, you get a demographic report. And I actually have a resource that I would recommend to every church that is looking to get a resource like that. You want to get a demographic report of up to about 15 minutes from your church. Okay? About 15 minutes from your church, you want to get a demographic report. Number 2, you want to develop an ideal disciple avatar. You want to develop an ideal disciple avatar. So, and I'll explain what that is, but just flow with me. This is the overview. You want to develop an ideal disciple avatar. Number 3, you want to create an ideal disciple map to discipleship. You want to create an ideal disciple map to discipleship. And then number 4, you want to confirm the information that you gathered with a secret guest visit. You want to hire a secret guest who matches the identity of the person you identified in step number 2, and you want to have them come as a secret guest and then do a post interview with them to confirm the information that you did in step number 3. Hey pastor, if you're building or refreshing your church website, you'll need reliable hosting. I recommend Bluehost. It's simple to use, affordable, and works great with WordPress. It's what I suggest to every church that wants to build a strong online presence without all the tech headaches. You can check it out through my link in the description. It helps support this channel and gives you a discount as well. Check it out, and let's make your digital front door strong, fast, and welcoming. God bless. Okay, that was a lot. So let me break down each step. Number 1, you want to get your demographic report. The resource that I would recommend every church using is a resource with church answers called the Know Your Community report. Now, this Know Your Community report, it's a very thick, about 70, 80 pages of data about your community, really every single piece of data you would want to know about your community. They actually partner with Esri, which is a confirmed data collecting agency, one of the best to do it. And the report that they use is specific for what a pastor would want to know about their community. I would recommend churches doing this at least once a year, at the very least, because you want to be able to see if there's any changes that have happened in your community. But you want to do this. You want to make sure, because the problem that I see with a lot of ministries is that they operate a lot of times off of assumption, not data. And we want to give data a seat at the table when it comes to the way we make decisions. And the way you do that is by making sure that you have accurate information about your community. And especially now, as transient as our population is, it's always changing. So you want to make sure that you want to get a good demographic report. So I definitely recommend going to Church Answers and getting their Know Your Community report. If you sign up for their gold membership, you actually get that as a part of the membership, and it comes with a whole bunch of other resources, like a Know Yourself assessment, Know Your Budget assessment. Very, very great information and great tools that you can use for your ministry. So highly recommend them. It's not just a demographic report, it's also a psychographic, so you're able to see and understand information. But I highly recommend you utilize that. So that's step number 1. All right, so now that you've gotten the demographic report, there is a part of that report, and this is going to be helpful for step number 2. It's called segmentation population, where they segment different parts of the population into characters. And that's going to be very, very helpful for the next step, which is create an avatar. And the reason I bring that up about the segmentation population is that that's basically what they did. They created different avatars, and they give you the top 3 that live in your community. And why I recommend churches utilizing that is then you at least know there is a market, right? The avatar that you're reaching, that you want to reach, there is actually a market for it. So I definitely recommend utilizing that when it comes to putting together an avatar. But what's an avatar? A very popular one in the church space. If you've read Purpose Driven Church by Rick Warren, you all know the famous Saddleback Sam or Saddleback Samantha. And really what that is just an avatar. They decided these are the people that we're going to build our ministry programs around to reach, because there is a significant amount of them in the community. And that's what you want to do. And it's not, and I want to be clear when it comes to this, because a lot of people get funny. This does not mean if there's somebody who does not meet that criteria, that you don't reach them. That's not it at all. You want to reach everybody, but you want to have somebody that you're targeting. Like Jesus said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. A lot of people came to Jesus who did not meet that criteria, but he knew who he was called to do. So kind of think about it like I'm pursuing this person, but other people will come, and I'm going to minister to everybody who comes, period. So that's maybe a good way of fixing that tension. But the most effective ministries have somebody that they in mind when they are ministering, and because you cannot effectively reach everybody. If you look at going back to scripture, right? Peter, he was called to the Jewish people. He had a specific calling to them. Paul was called a apostle to the Gentiles. So there is definitely biblical precedence for knowing a specific group that you're called to reach and that you're more effective at reaching. Maybe it is college students, maybe it is young families, maybe it's older families, maybe it's singles, et cetera, et cetera. Let's at least start with one, and then we can kind of build out. You can have multiple avatars. Most churches do, but you want to at least start with one just to get the idea. But put an avatar, put an actual name there, a face, and then create like a profile. Similar to that resource I mentioned before, looking at that, they actually help you by doing that. So you can choose one of your top 3, and then say, okay, we're going to build out a plan that reaches them. So that is that's a very good step, an important step that will help you when putting your strategy together. Now that you've done that, the next step is to create a map, an ideal map to discipleship. So what's included in this map? What do you want to include? Well, there's 4 steps to that. That's a theme. There's a lot of 4s here. 4 steps. You have awareness, interest, desire, and conversion. Those are the 4 steps. When you are able to articulate those things. So basically what you want to do is, now that you have a person in mind, you want to basically visualize the steps from where they are to where you want them to ultimately in your church. So you have these 4 steps that you want to take them through. And let me go through them really quickly. Number 1, you have awareness. So when they first hear about you. So how do we get them to actually hear about this? So we know what social media channels they're on, where their attention is currently. How do we get in front of them? That's number 1. Number 2 is interest. How do we get them to gain interest or have interest in our ministry, in what it is that we're doing? You want to be able to articulate that. And all of these are documented things. Like everything I'm talking about from the beginning of this video, you actually want to have documented. We're going to use that later in the next step to confirm whether or not your guesses, your hypothesis was correct or not. So you want to put together some data. Number 3 is desire. How do we make them want to make a change to come to our church? Like, what is it that they care about? How do we ensure that we are giving them what they care about? And then number 4 is conversion. How do we ultimately get them to take another step? So what we do when we work with ministries is we map this out. And then one thing that I've actually done with the ministry we're working with in Des Moines, Iowa, was we actually had a survey go out to the community, and we specifically targeted people that was a part of the criteria that we mentioned from our avatar. And we had them fill out a survey that went through a lot of different questions, but ultimately answered these 4 questions. So we want to track this because we're going to take all of this data. Really, this ideal disciple discovery process, this is a data collecting part of the equation. We want to collect data that we can utilize in our website, in our social media later, but we have to make sure that we have the right data. So you want to be able to track this. You want to have, using a survey is a great way to do it. Finding 25, 30 people to answer simple questions. That's going to be a great way to track this information, but you want to, because you want to make sure that you have a plan to reach them. Okay. You want to think strategically about how to reach them. And that's ultimately what we're doing here. So that's the 3rd step. The 4th step in this process is confirm your data with a secret guest. So we want to get out of the guesswork. We want to confirm. Basically, it's like a mystery shopper. You want to have someone show up. No one knows who they are. No one has spoken to them. They're basically going to pretend that they are a guest coming to your church for the first time. They're going to have certain things they're going to answer, questions they're going to answer. So we want to be able to let them do that. Find somebody again that meets the criteria of our avatar and have them show up. And then we do a post interview with them afterwards. And we ask them questions, not just about the church, but even about the website, all different types of things to make sure that we are close to the mark of reaching the avatar that we had identified. So that is basically the entire process. That's the process. That's what we want to use when we are putting together this packet that basically is there to collect data. We want to get out of the assumptions and move into the data collecting, but it's incomplete if we don't know what to do with this data. So it's fun to say, okay, we have the data, and now we're going to let the data collect us. No, we want to utilize the data in a way that we can actually create stuff out of it. And that's when we get to the next step, which is the StoryBrand framework. process that we will go to make everything in our marketing clear. So StoryBrand for churches, that's the final pillar that is going to allow us to get the goals and reach the things that we're trying to reach. These all build off of each other. So going back to the first step, the Epic Church Brand Guide, that's our foundation. That's our story. That is our logo. That's all of these different things. We get that straight. And then we collect the data. We go out like missionaries and we make sure that we understand the marketplace and where we live in our communities. Now we take all of that and we say, all right, we're going to put together real messaging that's going to connect with that person. And this framework will help you do that. And that's what we're going to get into. Now, we want to make our website clear, not clever. Clear, not clever. A lot of churches are written like brochures or theological essays. They're packed with language, buzzwords, spiritual jargon that guests don't understand yet. And when they are confused, you lose. When they are confused, you are going to lose. You cannot confuse people into discipleship. There must be clear pathway. There must be a clear next step that you take if you are going to go to the next level. So I'm going to give you 4 things that you want to put together that will help you to be crystal clear with your guests and actually put together a website that's going to be fantastic. Is going to be fantastic. It's going to do all of the things that we are saying here. So I'm really excited for you. The first thing you want to put together is a brand script. You want to put together a brand script. Well, before we get into the brand script, let me explain to you the StoryBrand framework in a nutshell. The visitor is the hero. The church is the guide. You offer a plan and you call them to action. That's it. The visitor is the hero. The church is the guide. You offer them a plan. You call them to action. When you position your church this way, online or offline, you invite people into a story where they are seen, valued, guided towards something greater. So these next few minutes, we're going to talk about how to do that. Let's start with the brand script. There's about 5 different elements to the brand script. Character, problem, guide, plan, success. Character, problem, guide, plan, success. So you need to be able to answer these 5 questions. Who is your ideal visitor? Who is the hero? What problem are they facing? How do we guide them, both with compassion and authority? What plan do we offer them to help them grow? And what does success look like if they stay connected? Keep each answer simple and emotionally relatable, not just theological. We want to be simple. We want to make sure that the people we're trying to reach can understand each step. That's a basic brand script. I am a guide with StoryBrand, so if you need some help with this, just let me know in the comments. Me and my team, we can help you put that together. But we want to ensure that we have these elements because we are going to use it for really everything that we are going to put together. So it's important that we get this clarified and put together properly. The next thing that we need is a one-liner. It's basically like an elevator pitch for new visitors. A great church one-liner follows this flow: problem, solution, result. So let me give you an example. Life can feel overwhelming. At Grace Church, we offer a welcoming community where you can grow in your faith and find real connection. Problem, solution, result. Problem, solution, result. You need to have a way that you can describe your church in that process, in that framework. All right. So once you have that one-liner put together, the next step are taglines. Short, sticky phrases that can make your church memorable. A good tagline captures your heart in around 5 to 7 words. For example, real faith, real community, come as you are, leave changed, a place to belong and become. These are things you can put on a banner, website, invite cards, etc. So you want to put together at least 4 different types. We actually offer 4 different taglines in our marketing packages included with all of these things. But they're very important. You want to have punchy taglines that will help you to communicate. Again, we just want to be able to communicate faster, more effective, and clearer. But then the final part of this process that is going to really bring us home is the website wireframe. We build a simple website wireframe using StoryBrand principles. So you want to use StoryBrand principles when putting together your website. And in fact, I will actually show you an example of a website that we put together, our agency, a before and after. So you can kind of see how all of this comes together. So I'm excited to show that to you. Hey, Pastor, real quick, if your church website is getting a refresh this summer, don't forget one of the most important pieces, online giving. I highly recommend Tithely. It's simple, secure, and trusted by over 37,000 churches around the world. Tithely makes it incredibly easy to add giving buttons, mobile-friendly forms, and even recurring donation option, so your members can stay engaged no matter where they are. If you're ready to make generosity easier for your church family, head over to the link in the show notes and check out Tithely today. But here's a basic layout of what this website would look like. Number one, you have your hero section. So that's when you have a clear headline as well as a plan your visit call to action. So you want to have a this hero section is the most important part of your website, period. That's the first thing that people are going to see. So there's a lot of different things you can do with that. One thing that I do with a lot of the websites that we put together is put like a video header that kind of shows different elements and different parts of the church and the community. Very good stuff, but we want to make sure that that part is very well done and intentional, because that's going to be the first thing people see. If they don't like it, they'll click away. And the next part is the problem section, the stakes. So you want to be able to articulate the stakes very clearly, and you want to be able to show them, that you understand where they're coming from, what they're going through, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you want to have a stakes part, and then the next piece is going to be more of your value proposition. So, how you address those issues, what makes you different, what makes you unique. So you want to have a value proposition as your next piece. Then you get into the guide. So you want to show empathy and authority. And you'll see it when I show you the actual layout of the website that we put together. And it will kind of help you make sense. The next step is the plan. Every guide has a plan. 3 steps is usually the key with the plan. So you want to be able to have 3 steps easily articulated. And then we usually like to leave with a explanatory paragraph, just another way of just sort of articulating how you solve their problem. If you can solve their problem, then it's going to be helpful. Other things you want to include potentially is a part for your latest sermon. That's usually where people like to see, test drive a sermon. Or if there's some other things that you want to include, we can shuffle the order around a bit. But those are primarily some things you want to have in place when you are putting together your website. So these are some key things that you want to include, that you want to have in place when you are putting your website. So to sort of recap the StoryBrand framework, you want to have a brand script. That brand script is really going to be, again, another tool that you use as a guide for the different marketings that you're going to do. I know we're focusing on websites here, but it works in really a lot of the different things that you're going to do. But you want to have a brand script that kind of gives you guidance for whatever you're going to do from a marketing perspective. You want to have a one-liner, a clear one-liner where you talk about the problem, the solution, and then the result of that. You want to have something that can really help you articulate your ministry. You want to have some taglines, some punchy phrases that will get you, that will help communicate your ministry. And then finally, you want to have a website wireframe. You want to write out the different parts of your website before it's actually articulated. So those are the 4 things that you want to have in place. And that's what's going to really help you in communicating your ministry. So we've covered the Epic Brand Guide. We've covered the ideal disciple discovery process, and now we've covered the StoryBrand framework. So what I want to do in this last bit is show you what it looks like when they all come together. So when you understand what they look like when they all come together, that is what's going to really help you to get a clearer picture, and really show you how this can all make your ministry and marketing so much more effective. So I want you to think of your website like a bridge. The epic branding creates that emotional connection. The ideal disciple discovery gives you audience clarity, and then the StoryBrand messaging brings clear, action-driven communication. These are how these 4 things work together. So when you put them all together, your website becomes more than an online brochure. It becomes a tool for evangelism, discipleship, and community growth. So let me show you now how all of this works together. Let me share my screen. So this was a ministry that we worked with not too long ago. So it's pretty fresh. You can kind of see what they have here. They have a image from their service. And then you could see they have like a little phrase. You have the pastor and his wife. They're above a place where the rejected, the neglected, hurt, used, abused, thrown away, and disregarded souls can come and find refuge. So they gave some thought to that. There's a welcome statement. You have our leadership, sermons, our beliefs, and then a connect with us. So kind of a lot of different things going on here, a lot of different types of things that they're trying to communicate. So they call us, it was right around Easter. We actually helped them with their Easter service and the promotion for their Easter service as well, which actually they saw really great attendance from some of the work and the promotion that we did on Facebook. But we also did their website. So you can see there's a lot of, there was a lot needed for this website, a lot that they needed to put together. So let me show you the end result and what we were able to put together on their website. So you can see the difference when this process is actually put into place. So after kind of going through all of this data, this is where we landed. TrueBrand Worship Center, your refuge for restoration and purpose. Plan a visit. You scroll down, find healing and belonging. Are you feeling forgotten, overlooked, or spiritually dry? You're not alone, and you don't have to stay that way. So we have that header, that beginning piece, that hero section, and then we go into the stakes. Don't let rejection define you. You're missing out on the right spiritual home. Missing out on the right spiritual home can leave you feeling unseen and unloved, disconnected from your faith, spiritually stagnant and stuck in the past. Then we go into the value proposition. Experience real change, real community, and lasting change. At TrueBrand Worship Center, you'll be embraced as you are, not judged from where you have been. You'll grow through spirit-led teaching and compassionate care. You'll experience the transformational love of Jesus. Then we go into the guide section where we emphasize empathy and authority. We get it, and we're here for you. With decades of ministry experience and leadership, we've seen God transform broken stories into powerful testimonies. So you could see we leave that section there. And then 3 steps. Join us for worship. Reach out for support. Get involved. So we have all 3 sections dedicated. And then you don't have to walk alone. We understand what it feels like to be overlooked, unloved, or spiritually empty. That's why we've created a place where you can heal, grow, and rediscover your value. You're not just welcomed, you're wanted. Through heartfelt worship, sound biblical teaching, and authentic community, you'll experience the love of Jesus in a real and personal way. Step into your new beginning. Come as you are. There is a seat for you. So as you can see, the way that entire website comes together really emphasizes. So we went into detail in terms of who they're called to reach. So we were able to identify that, and we were able to get the data involved in that. And we were able to use their epic brand guide. And then we used the StoryBrand framework, and we put all of that together. And then we were able to help them to carefully articulate their ministry to the people that they're called to. And now their website is now used as a tool for evangelism, for discipleship, for community growth. It is not simply something that they have, but it's not really actually doing what it's supposed to do. Your website should work for you. It should not just be something, a placeholder. It should be something, an active employee bringing new people into your church. So that's how we're able to fit everything together. That is how we are going to actually help you to see the growth that we were talking about. We're entering into a new phase. You need the right tools to reach this new generation. You need the right tools. And that is what we are here for. We are a trusted ministry resource. I don't brag, but I don't know if there's another agency doing what we do to help ministries reach the next generation. We are a top tier agency here to help you reach your community for Christ like never before. You need the next level effect. But we understand that different ministries are in different places and different spaces of their ministry. So we do have a resource for you that is completely free, 100%. Five things to do to your website this summer to be ready for the fall. So this is a new resource that we just came out with, and we would like to get it into your hands. The link is in the description below. So go ahead, download that link, and please, this is our first episode for the Mainline Marketing Blueprint podcast. So subscribe and let us know what you thought of this episode. Let's go to the next level together. I'm excited for this new season, and I'm hoping that this was helpful. If it was helpful, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you thought of it. Let me know which step resonates with you. And I look forward to partnering with you so we can go to the next level together. God bless you, and we'll see you soon.